All right, so I'm going to demonstrate how to create a tab autocomplete function using Jline. I recently had to do this for a project I'm working on, and it was very hard to figure out. Right now, I got just a simple main set up to let the user let us type on the terminal and test out our tab autocomplete. I have these as our options of things that we want to be able to complete. So, as a quick demonstration of what it would look like, right? We'd want to type in SAU, press tab, and it completes this to Sauron. How are we going to do that? So I use Maven, but you're going to want to implement, or you're going to want to install the dependencies for Jline and Jancy right here. So yeah, you're going to want to use Jline dependency right here. If you're on Linux or Mac, you won't need to do this. This is only for people on Windows. Or once you have these dependencies in. Okay, let's start with making a new class here. So we're just going to call it simple autocomplete. And the imports we're going to need, let me check. Okay. So these are the guys we're going to need right here. So we're going to need Jline line reader builder, and then terminal builder. So in this class, the first thing you want to do is you're going to create private fields for your options. So I store them in an array list. Really, any data structure should work for them as far as I know. You're going to want your options and your line reader. So we're going to make a constructor here for this, just like this, going to take in the options. And then in order to instantiate this line reader, we're going to make a create line reader method like this. So in this method, it's only just going to return this line reader object. And in Jline, the line reader is the most important feature or the most important thing about implementing tab autocomplete. The line reader is the actual object that is reading the line that the user is typing on. So to do that, we're going to want to make a try catch. The first thing you want to do is create a terminal instance. And Jline has a terminal builder like this. This really is just for if you want to use like a virtual terminal or something. If you're just trying to use your regular basic terminal on your computer, so this is all I know how to do is set it up like this. So after we've created the terminal, we can create the actual line reader object. And similar to the terminal builder, you guessed it, they got a line reader builder. So there's really only two things that you need for this line reader, and that's a terminal and a completer. So as you can see from the import up here, we are going to be using a strings completer, but Jline has a whole bunch of different types of completers that you can use. Really just look at the API and figure out which one's going to be best for you for whatever you're trying to implement. But the way you implement this is you do .completer. We're going to do string completer. And the only thing you need to give to the completers is your list of options. With what the completer is going to do. Oh, you know what? Actually, we need to say new strings completer. What the completer does is the line reader will give it whatever the user has typed so far. The completer is going to look through the list of options and return what option would fit with what's been typed so far. And that's what the line reader is going to use. So now we just return the line reader. we need to make one more method, a private string that is read input with autocomplete. This one's really easy. We just call that line reader object that we have, and we do reader.readLine. And then this is the spot right here. You can actually put in your little preface character so the user knows like this is a text field. You're just going to return this, and you're done. This is the simple autocomplete method. I'll post all this on my GitHub, so if you just want to copy this and build off of it, you can do that. It'll all be in the description of the video. This will actually work in Linux right now. If you try to run this on a Windows command prompt, it's not going to work. You actually need to, right above the terminal creation, you need to install ANSI console. So I'm actually just going to copy this over. So right here, ANSI console.system install. It's also going to have you import this up here, ANSI console. This is what turns your like Windows command prompt into a smart terminal that can actually run the line reader. So all that set up, and last thing we got to do is just remove our scanner in our main function and call that simple autocomplete. So just like we specified in the constructor, when you create this, you need to give it the list of options. We'll use our get options method. Okay, finally got that settled. Last thing we need to do is change our scanner input to calling our autocomplete read input with autocomplete. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Just make sure in your main function you're calling your read with autocomplete. The last thing I do want to show you before is if you try to run this in your IDE and you go and you're like, oh, okay, I can see the lines. It looks great. Let's try doing Sauron. And you press tab and it doesn't work. You're going to be like, Colton, you totally lied to me. You said it was going to work. Well, don't be alarmed. This probably won't work in your IDE. It actually does need to get run in a terminal. Now let's see if it worked. SAU, Sauron. So it looks like it works. So you type in let's see what our options were. FRO, press tab, Frodo. And the cool thing about Jline that I really like is say we do GA. It could either be Gandalf, it could be Galadriel. You press tab, and it's going to actually give you the options here of what it could be. Gandalf. So using tab, you can cycle through it. It's very self-explanatory, and obviously all those things can be changed. I would definitely recommend looking into the API, but that's all.